And welcome back, everyone, to part 4 of What If Goku, Vegeta, and Broly Went to Beerus' Planet. Now, we left off last night. By the way, you'll notice I'm just in a different room in the house, just chose to do it here. Because I'm lazy and I don't want to go upstairs, to be honest. My dad's taking a nap, and I don't want to do a video while he's taking it, just, catching an hour or so, just to recharge. But anyway, we left off in a very unique position. Frieza came to Earth. Vegeta pretty much goaded him into it. And, well, more or less, he used Rad/Nappa to goad him into coming to Earth. But he still goaded him into coming, wiped the floor with him, annihilated his ass. Personally, he did it. Everyone kind of respected him. He's kind of the leader of the remaining Saiyans, which is right now Goku, Broly, Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa, and their half Saiyan offspring. But this leads us in a very unique scenario. See, let's get out of the way. Cold would eventually catch word of what happened. He'd show up, and he'd get just as annihilated. So that's not in question here. But after this would have been the Namek arc, which really at this point there's no reason to have. Frieza's not threatening Namek, and so they're perfectly content on planet Earth. Basically, the Saiyans are establishing a new Saiyan a new home world, if you will. Under the understanding, particularly with the humans and Goku not wanting to just conquer the planet, that no, with the Saiyans will just live on Earth. It's not that we're taking over the planet, and Vegeta does agree to this. Being raised by Whis over time has tempered him out a decent amount, enough that he wouldn't just be like conquering and everything will be mine. I shall be King Vegeta. No, he's not going to do that. But also, I would imagine Nappa and Reds could, over the years, because it would be years now at this point, probably would meet someone. I mean, you could bring Launch back into the fold if you want. I could see her maybe going for Raditz. I know there is not fanfic, but I know there's that. But I know there's been what ifs done by other YouTubers. Like I know Masako did one where Launch got with Raditz. That's very possible. Bulma has a sister. That's possible too. Nappa, I'll be honest, I don't see Nappa getting with anyone, really. Not because he's a bad-looking guy or anything, because he is a little bit of a meathead. He's not a true idiot. Like, he's not just, he's not Raccoon. And even Raccoon wasn't that dumb. He's like, Nappa, I'm gonna... He's not the abridged Nappa. I sink their battleships and their whales. Oh, remember the bug planet Vegeta? Huh? Vegeta? Like, he's not a bridge Nappa, but he's also not necessarily depicted as being the most intelligent. He's depicted as being very simple isn't the right term. At least from what I remember from the anime and the manga, he's depicted as being very blunt and battle hungry. I think blunt is a good way to put it. He's a blunt instrument. He's good at it for what it's worth. Radz did seem to be the more intelligent of the two. Vegeta seems to be the most intelligent of the three. But that being said, they could maybe find someone for Nappa, but Nappa's also the oldest of the group by a good margin, if I'm not mistaken. He was an adult when Vegeta was a kid, and Vegeta's not that much older. He's older than Goku, but he's not that much older than Goku. And he was already an adult when they were kids, so he's got to be at least minimum in his 20s compared to the kid Vegeta. So you're looking at a guy that when Vegeta comes to Earth, and I believe he's around his 30s at that point, Nappa would already be in his probably mid to upper 50s, if not his 60s. Now, luckily, Saiyans retain their youth longer, so they can fight longer. But I believe it's right around 80 where you basically kind of peak and you start to rapidly age. I mean, granted, they can still have a lifespan like a normal human. It's just that's just the way their biology seems to kick in. So, at least I believe it's around 80. You can correct me on that. So, Nappa by this time would be 50s, 60s. He could still have a family, have some kids if he met someone. But I think him and Rad are just trying to make do with, making a place on the planet for them. I think Nappa would come to live at Capsule Corp under Vegeta's supervision, kind of being shown what they have here on the planet to work with. And he explains how he got stronger to them, how they all got stronger. Broly and Chi-Chi are fine for what it's worth. They're doing well. And Raditz, what would Raditz do? I actually see Raditz hanging out more with his brother, because it's at this point that Goku makes a decision that this planet is more than protected. Broly and Vegeta alone can protect us, no problem. He also is the only one really of the core three who never met anyone, nor does he really feel the need he had to. But he doesn't have anything apart from his two adoptive brothers and his friends to keep him from going back home to Whis, for at least for a time being. And so when Whis shows up and they explain what happened, and Whis kind of looks at Vegeta, well, I can't say I'm very happy with your the levels of destruction. You are fully aware that it's the destroyer's job to destruct, but it's the destroyer's job to create balance. And you're fully aware he destroyed my homeworld, killed my father and my race. So you'll forgive me, Whis, if I'm not going to just lie around and take it. And Whis just kind of stares at him. You didn't let me finish, Vegeta. While it is the destroyer's job, I can't act like if Frieza wasn't a problem. He did create a very large imbalance in the universe that even Lord Beerus would have had to have taken some time to correct, as after all, he is usually preoccupied. And Kakarot's probably like, oh, you mean sleeping all the time? Well, I was going to be more elegant, but yes. So I'll overlook it this time. But just try not to make it a habit, Vegeta. No promises. After all, the father's star. Oh, Cold, that's right. Oh, Cold, if I remember correctly, King Cold is a much more reasonable individual to deal with. So perhaps you might be able to reach an arrangement. And Broly saying, we did just kill his son. Good point. If it comes to it, I suppose I'll overlook this as well. But this can't become a habit, or what? Or I'll send you back home, send you back to the Beerus's, and you'll have to deal with his training instead of mine. And they all kind of go like, Whis is a taskmaster, no doubt, but he's also a very kind, patient, and level-headed individual. Beerus training you, on the other hand, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? And they say that, how did Dr. Phosphorus but say, I'm smiling. Sarcastic smile. Oh, I'm smiling, but you can't tell. I just finished Creature Commandos and started watching it with my dad. He's already starting to kind of really like it. Dr. Phosphorus, best character on that show. But, and Weasel's backstory, dear God. But I really actually really like the show. I digress. That's a different thing entirely. And now I'm sure someone's going to bring up a Creature Commandos what if at some point. But Goku, as I said, doesn't have that. So eventually he contacts Whis, and I'm sure they have ways of contacting Whis if they need to. They can communicate telepathically, or it's possible that Whis taught them specialized teleportation that they know, or that Whis knows. Now, granted, I'm not exactly sure if Whis knows, say, like a version of the instant transmission. Like, we know that Supreme Kai knew a version that's not the instant transmission. It's his own variant. It's a stronger variant of it. It's very possible that they either learned it from Whis, the angels, or Whis just has a superior version to that. Now, granted, Whis is still, Whis does travel just through, traveling, if that makes any sense. After all, we saw with, I think it was him and Beerus, that it took them a little while to travel across the universe, but their universe is much bigger than an average universe. Still, we also know that they can just teleport when they want to. So it's kind of a weird question. Maybe it's because you know what it is? Probably because they didn't really have a good lock on the planet. Maybe that's it. Now that they know where Earth is, they can just show up where they want. That would make some sense. But Goku basically contacts him saying, yeah, I think I'm going to be heading home for a little while. And it's like, Kakarot, I just wish we maybe could have talked a bit more. I mean, and now that we're no longer under the boot heel of Frieza and we have our freedom, I really don't know what to do with myself. It's like, well, you can always come and train with me, bro. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm sure Whis would be happy to have another student. And Whis listening is like, Goku, I made an exception for you, Broly, and Vegeta because you landed here. And while I do look at you as something of a sons, I'm not just taking any old I will not just take every student I have, every person you have as a student. It's like, no, he's right. I wouldn't want to be an imposition. Oh, you have very good manners, Reddits, thank you. Buzz goes, what if I bring you something new you haven't had to eat before? Ooh, well, I suppose I could be tempted are you tempted to bribe me, Goku? Because you know that's my weakness. Ooh, very well, but it has to be something I haven't had. And so, Goku spends some time starting, and he finally brings him like something. I imagine like seafood and cinnamon rolls. You'd think that's a weird combo, but that would be my jam. Honestly, like give me like just a bushel of crabs, butter, and then a couple big, thick, drizzled in icing cinnamon rolls fresh out the oven for my dessert. Oh, I'd murder that. Oh my god, this is wonderful. Oh, what's this spice cinnamon? Oh, and this, oh my. All right, very well. You can come and train on the planet for a while. Thank you. I promise I will not be a burden. Oh, well. I hope you won't be. Now let's go. And so they disappear from the story for a little while. In fact, for probably a good while, stopping in occasionally just to say hi, see how things are going with the group. And there's a big gap that happens here because as I alluded to it at the end of the last episode, and someone did bring it up in the comments. There, by all accounts, is no Android arc here. There's no future Trunks. There's no Cell. There's nothing of that. And that's because it wasn't Goku that defeated the Red Ribbon Army here. It was King Piccolo who eviscerated them. Unlike with Goku, who left a lot of the army guys alive. Yeah, I'm sure, I can't remember if he actually killed anyone, to be honest. I know he left several of them alive, and they either got themselves killed or were killed by someone else. And therefore, Gero went underground. Here, King Piccolo probably wiped out Gero as well. So there is just no Android saga here. Which means there's a giant, let's see, if we're talking about for when Frieza shows up in this, like, round the time he does in this version, go through the year break of the between Namek and him showing back up, then the 3 years, that's 4. There's an 11-year gap here. That is a big gap. Now, this does mean several things, though. One, more training goes down. All the humans get as strong as they get. Gohan probably also does some training on his own, or keeps training at least at any rate. And because of the potential he has of being a Saiyan hybrid, along with his father's DNA of him being Broly, he quickly actually becomes one of the strongest people in the series. In fact, the only people stronger than him would be Vegeta, Broly, and Goku. And Raditz at this point, because Raditz, through a lot of training, has unlocked God Ki as well. We'll talk more about that in a little while. But the fact is, Gohan, because of Rage Boost, and probably because he's accidentally looked at the moon before and gone nuts, has actually probably unlocked Super Saiyan and probably has his dad's DNA, so he's probably got a Berserker variant of it. That's kind of what Kales is called, and Kale is essentially a female Broly. She's not Broly, obviously, but we know she's a female Broly, let's be honest. Broly and Vegeta continue to have God Ki. They do. But they noticed, and they've probably grown much stronger since then, but they've also noticed Gohan's transformation when he did transform and unlock the Super Saiyan form that he has, which begged the question, okay, what's this form? We need to try to figure out this. Is it a different type of power? So they trained with it, eventually would have figured it out. And again, this is 11 years' time. There's a lot of time to justify this argument. And also realized there's forms beyond this form. So at least Super Saiyan 2 was unlocked for Vegeta. Broly, though, when he transforms, suddenly feels the Saiyan rage kind of boil up in there. And at one point, he kind of goes berserk. Even Gohan can't stop his dad. And God Ki ends up getting mixed into a Super Saiyan form, causing him to go basically into a Super Saiyan. Well, actually, it's a good question. With Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God, you got this blue color, which I never understood. I don't think it looks bad, by the way. I just think I don't understand why that's the color. That color should be orange, but I can understand why you wouldn't go orange based on Goku's outfit. But with the green, like, it's not lime green. It's like it's like a key lime, almost neon green, but not quite. It's a very unique color of green his hair goes. at least when it goes into Berserker. But here, actually, no, because he's got the base, I just realized that's his full power Super Saiyan. Here, he probably goes just into standard Super Saiyan Blue unintentionally. And he goes rampaging, like Vegeta, it like goes Super Saiyan God, but it's like he can't stop Broly at this point. And Go on is like trying to stop his dad. He got kind of like knocked out temporarily. Just finally, it's Goku who shows up. And Goku's like, Broly, that's enough, Broly. You need to calm down. Just starts like, and Goku's just auto dodging. Raditz is like watching from Whis because Whis says, "Go, show him the results of your training, Goku." And just, sure enough, 11 years training under Whis for that long, and having a much different level of mentality compared to what he has in the original. Goku does have Ultra Instinct at this point, and he's not in his mastered Ultra Instinct form. He's just in, say, like Ultra Instinct Sign, his proto form. He's like, because he's not trying to hurt Broly. So he's just trying to talk some sense to him. So Goku just, and just he's just blocking him. Just twists him. That's enough, Broly. Don't make this. Just calm down. Let's calm down. It's like, Dad, Broly, please. And he sees Chi-Chi, and he sees Gohan. It's like, Dad, please. And just finally, he sees them. And just like falls out of the form. And they're just like, what the hell was that? It's like, so the legends were true. The legendary Super Saiyan, your son Broly, was able to unlock. Your son, Broly's son, was able to unlock it on his own. Me and Broly started training with the form after he unlocked it. It's a different type of power, not as strong as the God Ki we've become accustomed to, but more natural to our state. But something happened with Broly. He snapped. It's like, it seems it's a dangerous power, especially for Broly to have. Still, not interesting though, to say the least. And so, because Whis is saying this, looking on, Goku, catches up with them. Says Raditz and haven't been training for a good long while. We'll see him again in a couple years. And then they disappear. And ultimately, we go through the entirety of the 7 years of peace, leading into the Buu arc. Eventually, Goku and Raditz finally show back up. Now, Raditz does not have Ultra Instinct. I'm not saying Raditz couldn't get Ultra Instinct. But Ultra Instinct is a lot more of a freestyle type of fighting than something like Ultra Ego is. And I don't see Raditz being the kind of guy who would really go for that stuff. Just like it wouldn't work for... That's why it doesn't work for Vegeta, more or less. There's other reasons, but that's the big thing, is that Vegeta just can't really use it effectively. That's why he went for the Ultra Ego instead. And I think that is kind of where Raditz lent after the fact. Is that he decided to go train more in Ultra Ego when Beerus finally woke up and actually, it's like, oh, another one, Whis, my God. All right, what can you do? And he shows the training he's undertaken since joining with Whis. This would have been like halfway through. It's like, oh, interesting. You have potential indeed. Very well. Seeing as the Ultra Instinct doesn't suit you, I have another idea. But first, Kakarot. Whis has told you you made a lot of progress with your Ultra Instinct. I'd like to see it. And Goku goes, mastered Ultra Instinct. There's no doubt about it. And Beerus is actually shocked and grinning, like excited, like autonomous Ultra Instinct. And he shows that he can do it to a degree. We know Beerus can do it to a degree. He's never mastered it. And so they're clashing. And even though Goku's Ultra Instinct is better than Beerus's, legitimately, Beerus is still the much stronger individual. So it's actually a relatively even fight, and Beerus is actually having a lot of fun. So Goku's, it's like, you're awesome, Levin. You're not too shabby yourself, Saiyan Poon. But you're gonna have to do a lot better than that if you're going to beat me. And then finally, I must admit, you have gotten quite strong indeed, Goku. Kakarot, I look forward to your improvement even further. And so, there's still no match for you when you go all out, Lord Beerus. and you best remember that. But I promise I'll be stronger next time. I look forward to it. And so, eventually they show back up. Now, with the World's Martial Arts Tournament, there would be Hercule's still the champion of the world, still very popular, beloved, but he's not the savior. So first off, Videl probably doesn't get to go out and fight criminals in this version. Um, so there's that. Does Gohan even go to that school? I mean, I'd probably say yes, probably. I don't know power-wise, but Gohan probably much stronger than his canon counterpart here. And I mean like stronger than Cell games Gohan. Again, that potential that the Broly's DNA would probably provide would be much greater than Goku's, just because again, Broly just built different. We saw he without any God Ki, he was smacking around God and Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta without God Ki. You give this man God Ki, he is a monster. Mind you, he's a monster in the sense that if you were to add, say, God Ki onto everything he else had, he'd be probably the strongest of the core three. However, he hasn't really trained much with the Super Saiyan form yet, or learned to merge it. Will he? Maybe. I actually haven't decided if he will or not. But regardless, Gohan probably would still hit it off with Videl. It's just now she, she doesn't have to go. She doesn't get to go out and fight, save anything. And Gohan maybe turns into the Great Saiyan Man. She's curious about him, but can't do anything about it because he can just hide from her. She eventually probably does track him down and asks him to explain what's going on. It's like, oh yeah, sorry. And I think Gohan has had his tail removed at this point because it would probably not go over well, say in like gym class where he's got to hit the showers and he has a tail. So at some point his tail has probably been removed. So she meets Broly and Chi-Chi, and Chi-Chi is immediately Tiger Mom. Goten's born too, by the way, because I don't see any reason why not. And she again goes, you're not good enough for my son. It's like, well, that's fine. I just wanted him to teach me how to fly. I'm not asking for any dates. Jeez. And then probably Broly kind of picks up. And so I say, honey, that's enough now. It's like, you put me down. Let me down. It's like, sorry, I apologize for my wife. She has a bit of a temper sometimes. It's like, what? She's looking at Broly like, this guy's tall. Holy crap, that's his dad? He's built. And he could probably, and she even thinks, I bet he could even kick my dad's ass. Why no? So he's here to teach you how to fly. Huh? All right. Did he tell you everything? It's like, everything what? No, just wondering. There's just certain things that that we have in our family that are kind of belong in our family. But flying is for everyone. And so he's saying, what does he mean by that? Just some secrets, or just some personal family stuff. Nothing to worry about. And she's just not sure about it, but whatever. He teaches them how to fly. Woohoo. Actually, Goten probably even knows how to fly at this point because he's got Broly as a parent. He's got a parent there that can fly. So there is that. Now, the World Martial Arts Tournament, do they even participate here? I'll be honest, there's not really a reason to do so. They know they are the strongest on the planet. There's really, and Goku could still show up at any time. So honestly, no, I don't see. Maybe they show up to watch. In fact, that's probably not a bad idea that they show up to watch, because they still have a good fight. Nappa shows up and Raditz comes back. Maybe Raditz is the one who ultimately hooked up with, Nappa is the one who ultimately hooked up with Launch. Maybe that I could see that kind of work. Her keeping his dumbass in place. Plus, his bald head reminds her of Tien, and she was secretly in love with Tien, or not so secretly, but it didn't go anywhere. And so maybe he's there, and she's like, "Hey, Nappa, Launch, is that you?" I like, "Oh, it's you guys. Oh, hello." It's like, "Gotcha, honey." "Oh, thank you, dear." And so, excuse me. And so they're maybe watching the match, and as they're walking, maybe getting snacks, they do run into Shin, the Supreme Kai. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I heard you were not participating this year. Going to participate. Yeah, no, there was really no reason. Why would we participate? Yes, exactly. And they can sense he's key. And so tell us, what's the Kai want with us? It's like, so they know. Now, this would be a very good question. Does Shin know about Goku, Raditz? Does he know about any of them? And unfortunately, I'm going to say the answer is probably no. Shin is kind of not a very good Kai. he's not very good at his job. He's a good person. That's not up for question. But he's actually not very good at his job. And if you want proof on that, you just go to the Tournament of Power where they're rated second from the bottom. That's him and Beerus, despite as powerful as Beerus is arguably among the strongest of the gods. If not arguably the strongest god in the of the gods. He's at least in the top 3 of the strongest gods. Despite his strength and Shin's good heart, they're actually not very good at their jobs. So it's very likely he never knew anything about these Saiyans that were raised by an angel. And so it's like, so wait, you're the Supreme Kai, aren't you? Why? Yes. How did you know that? I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised you knew that. Don't be. Our what would you call it? Our nanny, as he calls it. Like, he's probably never really acknowledged, because he was the oldest among them. I think he's even older than Raditz, so he knew of a father, so he doesn't recognize him as his father. But Broly and Kakarot probably do recognize Whis as at least their adoptive father. That's like, our adoptee spoke of the Kai during our training. Adoptee? Oh yeah, you might know. His name's Whis. Whis as in Beerus' attendant? Whis? The angel? It's like, oh yeah, him. It's like, yeah, what? And then he actually finally focuses his senses a bit more, and he realizes that there's not just normal ki in there. There's God ki, divine ki. What are these boys? Well, I had entered the tournament hoping to find a strong enough fighter to lure them out, but I think I might be able to use your help if you're willing to offer it. Oh, what kind of help? And so he enlists them in taking down Boo. And I'm gonna cut right to the chase. The Boo arc just flat out doesn't happen here. Once the Yamu and Spopovich try to steal energy, they find Bobity's ship. Quickly, Dabura tries to come out, but quickly they just wreck Dabura. Pui Pui would be no issue. Neither would Yakon, and Bobity would probably get squared away pretty quick. And so, yeah, the Boo arc gets packaged really quick. Like, there's no real. It's Bobity's like, what are they? It's like, we are the same gods of this planet, and you're done. No! And even if Boo got released, these guys would waste Boo at this point. So, he thanks them. They take Boo away, and all's well that ends well. And then you would fast forward to the Battle of Gods section, where they're all there enjoying themselves. And this is where Whis and Beerus finally show up, celebrating Bulma's birthday. It's like, hello there. I do believe we were invited, were we not? And so they look, there's Whis and Beerus, and it says, like, instead of Bulma being like, "How are you?" It's like, "Yes, you were. Welcome." It's like, "Please help yourself to food." It's like, Whis, there's a mollusk in this. Oh, this is delightful. I love this planet. He's going always, "Whis, there's a mollusk. Oh, it's delightful. Just be careful. One of them has something called wasabi." Wasabi? It's a really, and he explains what it is. That's why it's kind of a game. Some people get there's a couple of them scattered. Oh, I see. That actually does sound quite fun. Eventually, they kind of start eating, and eventually he gets a wasabi. Whoa, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot. And they all kind of have, even Whis has laughs. Oh. But he actually kind of I can see why that's, and then he sees someone else eat the wasabi and says, like, he laughs, like, all right, I admit it, it is kind of funny. And so there is no Battle of Gods here, because Beerus is actually very cool with the Saiyans at this point. So it's all well good. They actually have a very good time. There's no Boo there to steal pudding. So all's well that ends well on that. And that's where we're going to leave it at roughly 30 minutes. We'll have one final part this week. It's not the week of What If. That's actually the following week. I'm finishing up my Naruto What If this week. I'm going to do something that scares you all. We're actually going to write it down, because there's a lot of moving parts in that What If at the end here. So I got to write that one down. Normally I don't have to, but I do have to write that down this time around. And yeah, we'll actually be finishing up the Dragon Ball one this Saturday as well. So both Monday and Thursday of the following, not this coming week, but next week. The week of the, that'd be the week of 13th, the week of the 20th. We will be, is it 20th? tomorrow's the 19th, 20. Yeah, the week of the 20th. Yeah, sorry, I had to doing the math in my head there. Week of the 20th is the week of What If. So anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.